Hello and welcome. In this video, we will show you how you can combine individual test cases to a complete scheduled test plan. On the main page, we can configure some additional information for our test, like the project ID, the serial number of our test motor, and some additional comments. If this is fine, press on Accept, go to the second page, the DOT limits, just check if the selected parameters are corresponding with the test motor. If this is fine, go on Accept, and in this case, after this, go to Schedule. This is a scheduler where you can add single steps like a test case. Select here the test case you would like to have and the set of parameters you would like to use. Always select the proper test case, the parameter set, and go on. So this will build up a new schedule for your testing, whatever you want, or you can load an existing scheduler. I have prepared a set which is corresponding to all tests we show in our other videos. We open that here. So these are now 4 passive tests and the active tests in one row, one after the other. We click on the Start button. The test bench is prepared, configuration is done, safety circuits checked, and the first test is running, which is the back EMF measurement. So after this, it will automatically switch to the second test, which is cocking torque, which means that the load machine is moving the test motor at a very low speed, as we can see now, in the one direction. And after we have done 2 revolutions, it will stop and go to the other direction until the test is finished. So here we see on the torque curve the other direction now, and also in the speed line, we see that the speed has changed to 10 RPM in positive direction. And now this test is done. Load machine has stopped everything, and we go over to the next test, which is called drag torque. So this now is going one after the other. The drag torque test is done, moving to one direction with 4000 RPM and the opposite direction in 4000 RPM. And the last passive test, the encoder test, which is the test of the angle sensor of the test motor, is performed direct after the drag torque test was finished. So this is done also. Now we have a short break of a couple of seconds. And after this, the active tests are starting with the resistance test. So this is done now. We see that the DC current is supplied from the controller to the motor. That is all for the resistance measurement. We switch over to the inductance test, where we also have in the first set a DC current supply to the motor, and in the second set an AC current supply. So DC supply is a very short period we see here at the beginning. And now we are already in the alternating current supply for 3 revolutions as it was configured in the parameter sets. The test is done and we automatically go to the performance curve speed controlled dynamic, which will start with the phasing, a short warm run, and then the speed ramp. So here we are, test is starting, phasing is done, short warm run as coming in here in the window. The load machine is running in speed mode and we ramp up and ramp down to the pre-configured speed. So still on the braking mode here, stop it, and the test is done. And the next test, the load points can start. This is not dynamic, it is a static load point test for the performance curve. Yeah, test has started. So we go through all predefined speed levels, and after this, test stops. And we have another test which is called torque ripple, which is automatically done, which still means that the test motor is actively driven by the controller and the load machine is moving against this at a low speed, and the torque is taken out of that. Test is starting with a phasing and a short warm run, and after this is done, we see that the load machine is turning at low speed and the motor is corresponding with the same torque value. And now 3 RPM, 3 revolutions are done and the test is finished. And now the last test has started, which is a static flux table test. which means that the load machine and the motor are running at a constant speed. In this configuration, something of about 1200 RPM. We see that the torque is varying on certain current levels here, which means we have a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 torque points, current points, where ID, IQ are varying. And after this, we rise the current, make again the 7 points with a variation of the current in ID, IQ direction. And this is going on through all defined current values. So in the meantime, we can compress the timeline of our test, so we can see on the screen all of our tests in the timeline here. The last test is still ongoing. The static flux table is a test which is taking a couple of more minutes. So now the test is finished. The phasing at the end is still checked again. The pop-up window appears. We can open the measurement data and we can go into the measurement, and we see here in the folder that all of the measurements are done. Every measurement is done in an individual folder, and inside of that folder we can find the recorded measurement channels and the PDF report. In further videos, we will show you our test cases in detail. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.